Golden State Warriors fans, there's a lot to unpack here as the team starts to make moves that could define their season. First, let's talk about Jonathan Kuminga, who clearly is nearing the end of his time in San Francisco. The signs have been there for a while, and after that tough game against the Cavaliers where the second unit stole the show, followed by him being benched in the next game, it became obvious that things were changing. The Warriors are now exploring trade options for him, even though the earliest trade date is still a little over a month away on January 15th. It's a smart move to start the process early, giving the team time to consider all the possibilities and evaluate potential trade partners. But the challenge remains, who could the Warriors realistically bring in that would actually elevate them to the next level? At $22.5 million, Kuminga's contract is significant. Any trade would have to make sense both on the court and financially. While names like Giannis Antetokounmpo or Anthony Davis may come up in conversations, realistically, they don't align with what the Warriors need in a trade. The goal has to be finding a player who fills one of the team's many gaps, someone who can help turn them into a true championship contender rather than a team that is just maintaining its position. One option that comes to mind is Domantas Sabonis, who would be a perfect fit on paper, but acquiring him would be complicated. His contract is hefty, and additional players might have to be included to make the deal work, making it tricky. Yet starting these conversations now is essential because it allows the Warriors to map out the possibilities and obstacles of executing a trade like this. Another player who has entered the discussion more recently is Kristaps Porzingis. Porzingis is on an expiring contract, which could make the trade more manageable, and his style fits well with the Warriors' system. Atlanta is in a transitional phase, unsure whether they want to rebuild or stay competitive, and Porzingis could be a piece that benefits both sides. He is a stretch big man who can shoot from distance, protect the rim, and stretch defenses in ways that complement Golden State's existing roster. His 7'3" frame and versatility would immediately improve the floor spacing and interior defense. However, the Warriors also have to consider the short-term nature of an expiring contract and whether Porzingis would be part of the long-term vision, particularly since the goal is to compete for championships over the next couple of seasons. The trade calculus also takes into account what the Warriors might need to give up. Players like Moses Moody and Buddy Hield have shown flashes but carry substantial contracts. Moving them, possibly in combination with Kuminga, could help fill critical gaps in the roster, particularly at positions where depth or a bigger defensive presence is needed. The team has been treading water, and management clearly recognizes that incremental improvements alone won't suffice if they want to contend. This acknowledgement is a positive step, as it shows a willingness to make bold decisions rather than just hoping the existing pieces will magically align. Speaking of key roster moves, attention has also turned to Pat Spencer. Coach Kerr recently highlighted the importance of securing him on a full-time contract, and it's easy to see why. Spencer has proven to be a steady presence since injuries affected the team earlier in the season, particularly after Seth Curry went down. He has been a consistent performer, a true floor general capable of orchestrating offense in ways that the other guards on the roster cannot. His ability to read the game, make decisions quickly, and lead the second unit provides a level of stability that the Warriors have been lacking. Ensuring Spencer's role as the primary backup point guard, even over players with more prominent names or larger contracts, could pay huge dividends as the season progresses. Financially, there are considerations, since Spencer is a two-way player and his availability is limited to a certain number of games this season. Managing his minutes and structuring a contract that doesn't disrupt the salary cap will be crucial, but the upside is clear. Having a player of his caliber available consistently could stabilize the backcourt rotation and allow the stars like Curry, Green, and Wiggins to focus on their strengths without compensating for the weaknesses of the secondary guards. Spencer's presence can also influence trade decisions, as the team may feel more comfortable moving inconsistent players knowing that the point guard position is secure. Another important point to consider is the rumor mill surrounding players like Jimmy Butler and Giannis Antetokounmpo. While fans often speculate, it's important to separate wishful thinking from reality. The likelihood of Giannis coming to Golden State is extremely low. Milwaukee's current situation, their contractual obligations, and their draft pick limitations make it unlikely that such a trade would benefit the Bucks. A swap involving high-level stars rarely works unless it addresses both teams' immediate needs and long-term goals. Realistically, any major trade involving Giannis would require a complex, multi-layered deal, likely with multiple assets involved, and even then, there are no guarantees. For the Warriors, focusing on attainable trades that genuinely strengthen the roster is far more practical than chasing speculative blockbuster moves that are improbable. Ultimately, the key takeaway is that the Warriors are finally acknowledging the need to confront their weaknesses. Last week's losses against the Thunder and the Sixers exposed recurring problems that cannot be ignored. Whether it involves trading Kuminga when he becomes eligible, moving other players like Moody or Hield, or securing key contributors like Spencer, the team is actively looking to address the issues that have held them back. The goal is clear: to compete at the highest level and avoid the cycle of playing catch-up that has plagued previous seasons. By taking decisive action now, the Warriors are positioning themselves to strengthen the roster in meaningful ways, creating a more balanced, resilient team capable of contending for a championship. This season cannot be about incremental gains or hoping that existing stars will cover gaps indefinitely. Even with Curry, Green, and Wiggins performing at a high level, the roster has evident vulnerabilities that need to be addressed through strategic trades, roster adjustments, and targeted acquisitions. The willingness to evaluate who is expendable, identify voids, and prioritize players who contribute consistently is a critical step toward constructing a championship-ready team. Golden State's approach now, if executed effectively, could prevent the frustrations of last season from repeating and create a trajectory that leads directly to contention and success. Moving forward, one of the most intriguing aspects of this Warriors season is how management and coaching staff are balancing the immediate need for competitiveness with a long-term vision of sustaining a championship window. It's clear that incremental tweaks aren't enough, and the organization recognizes that simply relying on the established core, Steph Curry, Draymond Green, KLAY Thompson, and Andrew Wiggins, cannot mask the gaps in depth, consistency, and defensive versatility. With that in mind, the trade considerations for Kuminga, Moody, and Hield take on a much deeper strategic importance. These are not just moves to shuffle the roster. They're moves designed to redefine the team's identity and optimize the mix of talent in ways that maximize the championship window while remaining financially feasible. Kuminga, in particular, represents a high-risk, high-reward trade asset. While he has shown flashes of brilliance, his inconsistency has been a recurring concern. Games where he disappears offensively or struggles to impact the defensive end highlight the uncertainty surrounding his development. Golden State, like any championship-minded team, cannot afford to gamble on potential when they are aiming to compete against elite contenders who exploit even minor weaknesses. By exploring trade options now, the Warriors not only position themselves to receive a player who fits their immediate needs, but also signal to the rest of the roster and the fan base that there is accountability and a commitment to winning in the present. The timing of this move is critical, as waiting too long could result in fewer options or inflated trade costs as other teams anticipate Golden State's urgency. Domantas Sabonis remains a tantalizing target in this scenario, even with the financial complications. A player of his caliber would provide immediate interior presence, rebounding dominance, and playmaking from the center position, which could be transformative for a team that relies heavily on perimeter shooting and spacing. The challenge, however, lies in structuring a trade that balances salary while also retaining sufficient depth in the guard and wing positions. It is a delicate chess game where each move must account for both immediate impact and long-term flexibility. Any miscalculation could leave the Warriors vulnerable to unforeseen gaps or cap issues, especially with the rising costs of extensions and future free agent targets. Kristaps Porzingis presents a contrasting opportunity. His expiring contract allows for a lower-risk acquisition, and his size and shooting ability align well with Golden State's style of play. As a 7'3" stretch big, he can create spacing, protect the rim, and command attention in pick-and-pop scenarios. While he may not represent a long-term cornerstone due to contract expiration, his immediate contributions could stabilize rotations and complement the existing stars. Furthermore, pairing him with other acquisitions could maximize offensive efficiency while maintaining defensive integrity. Porzingis is particularly valuable in scenarios where the Warriors need to offset the limitations of smaller lineups, providing a reliable presence in both transition and half-court defense. Roster evaluation extends beyond these headline names. Pat Spencer's elevation to a full-time role is more than just a minor adjustment. It reflects a strategic acknowledgement that floor generals are essential to Golden State's identity. Spencer's ability to direct pace, manage spacing, and distribute effectively allows stars like Curry and Wiggins to focus on scoring and cutting without overextending themselves defensively. His presence also influences personnel decisions, as players who may have been inconsistent or underperforming, such as Pods or other backup guards, can now be evaluated against a higher standard of court management. This approach ensures that each roster spot is maximized for both efficiency and versatility, which is crucial when contending with elite NBA teams that exploit even small weaknesses. Another layer of complexity arises when considering potential blockbuster trades that have been circulating in the rumor mill. Conversations about Giannis Antetokounmpo or Jimmy Butler highlight how speculative these discussions can become. While fans are naturally drawn to marquee names, realistically, acquiring such players involves navigating contracts, draft pick restrictions, and team philosophies. For instance, Milwaukee's position with Giannis is complicated by the fact that they do not own their first-round pick until 2031, which severely limits their flexibility. Any trade involving Giannis must ensure that the Bucks remain competitive, and that reality significantly reduces the likelihood of him coming to Golden State. While it is fun to imagine what a superstar pairing could look like, the Warriors' actual priorities are more nuanced. They must identify players who realistically fit the system, contribute immediately, and maintain a balance between cost and impact. Beyond trades, the Warriors are also confronted with the need to integrate emerging talent effectively. Players like Moses Moody and Buddy Hield are in positions where their performance and contract status make them candidates for trades that could fill other critical gaps. Moody has shown potential, but needs consistent development, while Hield brings perimeter shooting and experience that could be leveraged in a trade to acquire more impactful pieces. Managing these decisions requires a blend of analytical foresight and situational awareness, as each move reverberates across rotations, chemistry, and salary cap management. The underlying theme across all these strategic considerations is a sense of urgency. Golden State cannot afford to operate from behind the eight ball as they did in previous seasons. Addressing deficiencies now, whether through trades, roster restructuring, or strategic signings, is paramount. The window for contention is narrow, and relying solely on established stars to cover gaps is unsustainable. Even with Curry, Green, and Wiggins performing at peak levels, the cumulative strain of compensating for weaker rotations, inconsistent bench scoring, and defensive vulnerabilities exposes the team to risk in playoff scenarios. By taking proactive measures, the Warriors are signaling a commitment to reshaping the roster in ways that maximize immediate competitiveness while laying the groundwork for sustained contention over the next few seasons. Before we continue, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel so you won't miss any exclusive Dubs updates. Let's keep going. The NBA world is buzzing with speculation after an official announcement seemingly confirmed what fans have long feared. KLAY Thompson is set to leave the Golden State Warriors. The news has sent shockwaves through the league, sparking intense debate about the future of both the franchise and the star shooter, who has been synonymous with the Warriors dynasty. Thompson, a three-time NBA champion and one of the most feared shooters in league history, has been a cornerstone of Golden State for over a decade. His departure marks the end of an era defined by his signature catch-and-shoot threes, clutch performances in the playoffs, and an unmistakable calm under pressure. Rumors suggest that behind the scenes, discussions have been ongoing for months, with sources close to the player hinting at a desire for a new challenge and a fresh start elsewhere. Fans and analysts alike are now speculating about where KLAY might land. Some whisper about a return to his roots on the West Coast, while others suggest an Eastern Conference powerhouse could be tempted to offer him a leading role alongside their stars. The possibilities are endless, and the NBA rumor mill is operating at full throttle. Social media is alight with hashtags, fan theories, and wild predictions, with everyone from casual observers to veteran insiders weighing in on what could be the most seismic shakeup of the Warriors roster in years. Golden State, meanwhile, faces a pivotal moment in its history. How will the team adapt without Thompson's ice-cold shooting and defensive presence? Will this signal a rebuild, or is it merely a pivot toward a new chapter that could surprise fans? Sources indicate that the front office is quietly assessing options, balancing loyalty to a legend with the harsh realities of maintaining championship contention. Meanwhile, whispers in locker rooms around the league suggest that a KLAY Thompson trade or free agent signing could trigger a domino effect, reshaping several franchises in ways few could have predicted. One thing is certain. The end of KLAY Thompson's tenure in Golden State is more than just a roster change. It's the closing of a chapter that has defined an era of NBA basketball. As the rumors swirl and fans hold their breath, the basketball world waits to see where the shooting guard will land and how both player and team will navigate the uncertain, electrifying road ahead. Stay updated exclusively with the latest Dub Nation news. Subscribe to our channel and hit the like button to keep getting daily updates on the Warriors. Don't forget to share your thoughts in the comments. Your input is essential for the Dubs community. Stay tuned for the next video.